Hell, even the Fox Light guys, CNN, are getting on Donald Trump. And I gotta hand it to Jack Kingston, to be honest with you. This guy's got a lot of courage because he knows he's on the losing side of this argument. But he, along with Boris and, well, I haven't seen Katrina in a while, but I have seen Kellyanne Conway. They keep coming on these shows, taking all the slings and arrows, and they keep coming back for more. Jack Kingston's on this particular show, and he gets basically ganged up on, and that is a fair analysis. He gets ganged up on. They need to bring at least 2 Trump guys in here in order to make it a fair fight.
Donald Trump is now dialing back his praise for Russian President Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, Clinton is slamming him for calling the Russian president a stronger leader than President Obama. Also, you had earlier this week Senator Tim Kaine attacking Trump for what he calls his bizarre fascination with strongmen like Putin, also Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, and North Korea's Kim Jong-un. Well, let's bring in Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed. He is a Hillary Clinton supporter. Josh Rogan, who's a CNN political analyst and Washington Post columnist. And former Congressman Jack Kingston, who's a senior advisor to the Trump campaign. Gentlemen, good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
So let me start with you, Congressman. After what we've heard from Senator Kaine, from Secretary Clinton, how do you explain this affinity that Donald Trump has expressed for those leaders we just mentioned?
Well, it's not an affinity admiring what they're doing. He simply said they're strong leaders. Barack Obama started out his presidency apologizing, in an international tour nonetheless, apologizing for the actions of the United States of America. He's made meaningless threats, such as if you cross the red zone, the red line in Syria, this is what we're going to do.
See, now that's the one thing that kills me, that nobody ever pushes back against these guys on. Obama created a red line, okay? The Syrian, well, Assad turned around and blinked at the very, very last second when Obama was going for authorization to go get his ass, and he gave up the ghost, so that he gave up the chemical weapons. Not a shot was fired. Nobody was killed. As far as I'm concerned, that's a win-win for everybody. But these guys, they're so interested in saber rattling and turning around and taking actions that are going to cause people's lives, that they are blind to the big picture. And the big picture was Obama got accomplished what he set out to do.
We're going to be tough on all allies. We're going to end terrorism. That ISIS is a JV team, and we and our allies are going to be tough on them and everything else. So I think what he's saying is, look, you got a strong leader, and if you're going to deal with a strong leader, you've got to be strong. Hillary Clinton, by the way,
but they're also dictators.
And they're strong. They may be dictators, but they're strong. And
but is that really what you want the Republican nominee to say? Yeah, they're dictators, but at least they're strong?
He's saying you need a strong leader to stand up for him. When Hillary Clinton was having her hearing,
and hold on, Mr. Mayor,
well, I mean, I'm on the team now, so you know, we get a lot of advice from good Democrats, and we appreciate that. But the reality is, he's saying you need a tough guy to stand up to tough people. Hillary Clinton said she was going to end the nuclear test in North Korea. That she said that in February 2009 when she became Secretary of State. Well, that's really done a really good job. She's really worked that out.
We're going to go into details on North Korea, but Mr. Mayor, I want you to respond to that.
The bottom line is that Donald Trump has constantly praised Vladimir Putin. When my friend Congressman Jack Kingston was running for the United States Senate and lost, he never would have appeared on a Russian propaganda station downgrading and denigrating U.S. generals while he was running for office. His behavior is reprehensible and has been the entire time. And I believe that if Donald Trump would actually show his tax returns, we would have much greater insight into why he praises Vladimir Putin and is such a fan of Russia. But because he won't disclose his tax returns in an open and transparent fashion, Donald Trump won't even meet Dick Nixon's standards. Dick Nixon showed his tax returns to the American people. But because Don Trump won't, we will not have the kind of insight that the American people deserve into his intimate relationship with Russia. It didn't just occur. Let's be real clear for a moment, since my friend took his time to talk. The only direct action during the Republican National Convention that Don Trump and their leadership got involved in was relaxing the Republican platform as it relates to the United States relationship between Russia.
All right,
this is a vital issue, and Don Trump needs to open his tax returns so that we can see what is the genuine relationship between Don Trump, Vladimir Putin, and Russia.
All right.
You know, that's something that I really never thought of. Suppose Donald Trump, when he was over there, you know, during those Miss Universe pageants, cut some kind of a deal with Putin and didn't follow through on the deal. Maybe formed a company or something like that over there. Well, over here, you know, if a company doesn't make it, you file bankruptcy. I don't think Vladimir Putin has bankruptcy over in Russia. And if Trump cut a deal with him, I damn sure know that Putin wouldn't accept any type of a shortfall on any deal that he made. So, just something to think about. I mean, Trump throws so much crap out there. I guess I'm entitled to throw crap out there too.
The American people, I think, will have some indication why he's constantly praising this.
Josh, let me bring you in here. Is this something that the Clinton campaign calls it unprecedented? They've never seen anything before like this. Is this indeed unprecedented from your reporting? Is this more than just Donald Trump just giving compliments back to a leader who gave some to him?
Yes. It's much deeper than just his compliments for Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump has been doing business in Russia, and attempting to do business in Russia since 1987, when he made his first trip to scout properties for a Trump Tower in Moscow, or what was then the Soviet Union. Let's not forget he had a campaign chairman who was a pro-Putin lobbyist. And yes, he talks about the strength of Putin, but defining leadership in simply terms of strength is sort of the simplest, most sort of unserious way you can define leadership. But setting that aside for 1 second, the point here is that when Donald Trump talks about Russia, he talks in terms that are exactly the same as Russian state propaganda positions. When he talks about Crimea, when he talks about Ukraine, when he talks about NATO, when he talks about United States democracy being rigged. These are all things that fit exactly the Russian propaganda line. So we have the Republican presidential candidate parroting Russian propaganda talking points. It's weird, it's sort of unprecedented, it's very sort of destructive to the actual serious debate over U.S.-Russia policy, and it's clear that Donald Trump really doesn't know.
Maybe we need a reset.
Hold on. I want to introduce North Korea. We don't have a lot of time. I want to bring up North Korea. And Donald Trump this year has discussed, in defense against North Korea's growing nuclear resources, that potentially Japan and South Korea should also be nuclear powers. Let's get a reminder. Let's watch.
So North Korea has nukes. Japan has a problem with that. I mean, they have a big problem with it. Maybe they would, in fact, be better off if they defend themselves from North Korea. Maybe we would be better off, including with nukes. Yes, including with nukes.
And South Korea with nukes.
South Korea is right next door, just so you understand.
But that's
South Korea,
a nuclear arms race in the Korean Peninsula.
You already have it, Chris.
Now, there was a major global response to that suggestion. Japan said they didn't even want them. Congressman, is a nuclear South Korea still on the table, considering what we just saw this week from North Korea?
Well, first of all, that wasn't a statement of policy. That was a statement of we need to have our allies well armed to defend themselves, and we need to let North Korea know that we're going to stand up to them.
Okay, well, let me put the question here. Hold on, Congressman. We can't skip by this.
Are you kidding me?
We can't skip by this. You can't skip by this, Congressman.
It was not a statement of policy.
It was too.
Let me ask you a question. Hold on. Congressman, is Donald Trump still open to a nuclear South Korea?
I think what he's open to is making sure that our allies are defended and that they are strengthened,
Respectfully,
and that they
that's
know
not the
America is standing
question. Is
behind
Donald
them.
Trump
It doesn't
still
matter.
open to
It's not a
nuclear
statement
South
of
Korea?
policy. What he was saying is, I'm not going to cut and run on you the way this Obama and the Hillary Clinton administration has. Remember, the Hillary Clinton, when she was being during her hearing for Secretary of State in 2009, she said, we're going to stop the nuclear testing in North Korea. We're going to have a coalition. We're going to get an international group together. We're going to put pressure on them. We're going to have the six-party talks, six-country talks all around it. And it's more talk and no action.
Josh, was that received as a statement of policy?
Yeah, no, I actually talked to Japanese and South Korean leaders. They're appalled and sort of saddened by the fact that the Trump plan for non-proliferation is actually proliferation of nuclear weapons. It doesn't make any real sense at all, and it sort of contradicts decades of U.S. and allied policy.
But remember, Democrats.
We're running low on time.
It's not a statement of policy.
We're running low on time. I want to give the mayor 20 seconds. Go ahead.
This is exactly the reason that 115 Republican defense specialists are supporting Secretary Clinton and not having anything to do with Donald Trump. Their unhinged statements, the kind of unhinged statements that he makes, weakens our international policy and shows a blatant lack of support for our allies in South Korea and in Japan, and it's exactly why he should not be president of the United States.
We got to wrap it there.
Remember, we have 130 or 40 who endorsed Donald Trump.
Congressman, thank you very much, and we're going to continue
You can't name
Yeah, see, these guys start going back and forth, but Jack's got he's got a hard job. I mean, I feel sorry for him. But Trump is a maniac. He's liable to say anything that comes across, his eyes. And I'm not even talking about his brain, but anything that just appears in front of his eyes. But this Putin thing, I don't know. This could really divide the Republicans.